Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are having another edition of Sip and Chat, and we will do our regular check in. I'm doing okay. It was a pretty cool week. Nothing too crazy going on, at least inside my house, which is the good thing. That's a good thing. How you doing, Daryl?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Well, I'm glad to be back. Well, not really. I wish I was still
I was great.
vacation.
Say what? Glad to be back.
Right. Vacation was
Hey,
good. It was really good.
yeah, I'm glad to hear that. When you go away, you should have fun.
Hey, Roxanne.
Hey, Roxanne. Okay, so you had a good time.
More than a good time. It was amazing. Really relaxing. I really just relaxed. Like I just got rid of the phone and just relaxed.
Really?
Yeah, I just relaxed. I don't even have a lot of
Nice.
pictures because we just enjoyed it. We just enjoyed the time.
That's what's up. That's why I
Right, right,
always
right.
wonder about that. When someone is on vacation and you see posts like every 5, 10 minutes, are they
Right.
really enjoying the
I don't know. I know it. I had zero pictures and I enjoyed my vacation.
vacation? Yeah, because I'm wondering, how do you get a chance to just sit and take everything in if you always flashing for
Right,
pictures?
right, 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 right.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. But I'm glad you're back safely.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's what's up. So tonight's topic is harmful influences. We are doing a two-part from 2 weeks ago. And before we begin, I just wanted to offer our condolences to Camp, who lost her grandmom recently. So our prayers are with you, Camp. Mary is out of town. I'm sure you guys have seen some of her posts. She is in the Caribbean.
Living her best life.
Yes. Yes. So we wish Mary a good time and a safe flight back. So our again, we're going to talk about some of the harmful things in our environments that are interfering in our relationships. Last time we talked about a lot of different subjects, but we did not bring up mental health, work problems, or substance abuse, I believe, were the three
Okay.
that we kind of just glossed over. Um, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about how these things can have a negative influence on your relationship and maybe offer some solutions about how to stop these things from causing you problems.
Right.
All right.
That's not me.
That's me.
Yeah. I'm not here.
Sorry, guys.
Tell him I'm not here. I'm busy.
You're not available.
I'm very bad. I'm not available right now.
And it's obviously someone who doesn't know me because they know Friday nights don't call me between,
Right, 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 right.
this time. Don't call me. So obviously it's a solicitor. So let's start with mental health because me
Okay.
and me and Daryl both work closely in that arena.
Right.
And I'm just thinking of some cases that I've come across or some people that I've done treatment with where if you have certain disorders, you know, it can have some severe problems. It cause some severe problems in your relationship.
Absolutely.
Um
Absolutely.
mhm. I'm thinking of things like bipolar disorder, personality disorders,
Hmm. Hmm.
depression, anxiety. So it's not even
Right.
just all of the hardcore, if you will, diagnoses. It could be any diagnosis, especially if you don't know how to manage it.
Right. And on the other side, what I see is sometimes um, dealing with those issues as the person who does not have them. Sometimes the lack of understanding may not have you aware of, like, well, they're not in control of this. They're not doing it on purpose. So you may take it, take it personal, or you may not understand. Let's get over it. Depression.
Yes.
You always say, get up. What do you mean? You can't be. It's a nice day outside. Get up. Our lack of understanding could actually add to the pressure of the relationship, because now you guys are arguing about something that that person may not control or may need help with, and you're really not helping them. By not because of lack of understanding.
Right. And that is so true. A lot of times people are telling people with these problems, just stop.
Right.
And
everybody.
If you think about it, wouldn't they stop if they could?
Right. It makes sense, but everybody's a therapist. Everybody has the answers. Hey, just put a little Robitussin on your chest, you'll be all right. Everyone has the answers, and and what's sad to me is that, to be honest, that most things we could help ourselves out with a quick Google sometimes, to kind of see some things to help us through these things, or and people just don't take the time. Everybody's a know-it-all today, or they're cool not knowing what they don't know. And that's a big problem in relationships today too. Cool not knowing what you don't know.
Yeah, and you're right. Just being okay with not knowing, and just going off of your distorted views.
Listen, I don't need. I know I'm good. I don't go think outside of me. What I know is what I know, and that's it.
Then my comeback is, don't be in a relationship.
Right.
Then all you got to do is worry about yourself. That's
there it is. But none of them do. They all get in a relationship and try to, they know everything.
Yes.
Just ruin it for everybody. So now the person with mental health got to deal with some else's issues, which now that relationship cannot survive at that point. Because even if they're getting help, they come home to something where they're not getting that help.
Yes. Roxanne says sometimes people can exacerbate their condition. Yes, so true. By causing more stress in their life. Very true. Stress makes everything worse. Everything. And I don't think that
everything.
Yeah, say it again.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything. Makes everything worse. And when you are downplaying or minimizing someone else's pain just because you don't understand it, you're causing stress for them.
Right. And inhibiting them to get better. You're really stopping the process that they may be in, right? By not being supportive of them, of their getting better.
And it's funny because I think some people do think they're being supportive when they tell you get up. I told her get out the bed. I told her get out the bed. It's a sunny day. I'm supporting her.
Right. It's really difficult when you have all the answers not to give the answer. You understand? Like, I can fix you. So listen. If you listen, I can fix you. It's really difficult for us people who have all the answers not to give the answer. So it makes it difficult to help out, and that's something I had to learn actually. That you don't have to give an answer. Sometimes when people are going through it, it's not an answer you have to give. You just be there and support them. It's best you can.
It's true. It's true. I do think that sometimes people feel like they need to fix you or help you get fixed without calling upon the right tools. Just because you read it on Facebook that if you make the person go outside in the sun, they're gonna feel a whole lot better.
WebMD has been the worst thing ever created. Everybody's a doctor. WebMD.
Yes. So it's important to really kind of stay in your lane and not try to treat the person yourself.
hmm hmm Because
Mm,
again, doing that sometimes will make a person not want to tell you things.
yep. Yep.
They'll not want to open up to you because sometimes they're just telling you something and they don't want to hear your answer.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So at a certain point, they're like, I'm not going to tell you because I can't share with you what I'm going through because you're going to try to fix me. You're going to try to make a diagnosis and fix me and prescribe medicine. Take 2 Advils, call me in the morning.
That's why people started giving kids alcohol for their teeth, for teething. Somebody said that
Right.
was a good idea.
Just rub this on their gums and they'll be fine. Yeah, because they're drunk.
Right.
Okay. Your 3-year-old is drunk. They are nice.
We're good for passing down bad information.
Absolutely.
And acting like it's fact.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, Roxanne. Yes.
Right. And I think that's, both people. Yeah, I think you need to be included in that because again, really not understanding. I think I was dealing with someone who had, I think, anxiety. I didn't understand. Like, we ain't always saying what you're anxious about. I can't breathe. Shut up. Stop playing. Like, you can't. We're just sitting here. Like, you were so extra. And it would upset me. Like, you're extra. We're not doing. Like, there's nothing here for you to be anxious about. I didn't understand it. And I probably added to the anxiety. Like, that was even more anxious because about me. I didn't know I was a trigger. Who knew it was me? But I didn't know what I didn't know, and it took a while to understand, to really take time to sit and listen to people. And that's what we got to do. We got to do more listening. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen more, to really listen and listen to want to understand. Cause I'm like, what is going on? This can't be like, what is. And as they explained it to me, I'm like, wow, that's how you feel. It's amazing. They feel this way. They're anxious about it, whatever it is. And it could really be a big issue to them. And because I didn't deal with it or understand it, it didn't make sense. Like, get up, suck it up. Put some Robitussin on you. You'll be all right.
But you know what? Your comments it's so common.
Right.
Especially with depression and anxiety. People say, you don't have anything to be depressed about. Your life is good.
Yes. Right.
There's nothing to be anxious about. We're just sitting here on the couch.
Right. Because a lot of times we don't understand that these people become great imposters. They become great at looking and presenting to be okay. And we see them smiling and being happy. Like, I seen you laugh today. How are you depressed? You laughed. Depressed people can't laugh. You got to. We just not understanding it. We just it just makes it tougher for that person to want to get help or express to you how they feel.
And of course, ultimately, that interferes in the relationship because
Absolutely.
Now I can't be real with you.
No,
I can't be vulnerable because you're gonna tell me just get over it.
Right. Or get upset. Like sometimes it makes you upset. Like, come on, you're doing the most. You're doing the most right now. Stop. You're having a panic attack about what? Ain't nothing here to panic about. Because it doesn't seem real for you to be sitting here watching TV the next minute. Like for me at that time, it didn't make sense. It doesn't. If you want my attention, you could just say it. You don't have to do this. Get my attention. Now I'm making it about me. You wanted my attention.
Yes.
And that is a problem because I couldn't support her. And then I'm in a frame of mind that you're being extra. You know what I mean? Get back to like, now you got me feeling some type of way.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So it's tough. Mental health, especially now today, I see mental health is really big. People are trying to do it. Actually, I know like some groups and stuff that I sat in on that dealt with different disorders, and hearing people talk about these things, it also is really awakening things. How they like, we don't want to tell people things because you're going to look at me differently after that.
Yes.
No matter what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. Now our relationship has changed because of this diagnosis, and you may treat me differently or feel I need kid gloves, or you may have the answers. you know, so it's tough. Mental health is really something that is really big in relationships in so many different ways.
Yep, very true. Very true. Yep. And I'm also thinking, like, if you have a family member that has a mental health issue and you're in a relationship with
Right.
someone and you always have to be there for your family member, that can interfere in your relationship.
Uh, so personally, I dealt with that one,
Okay.
and it was a. It's funny because you don't want to tell people what's going on, right? Because it's kind of
Mhm.
embarrassing. You feel embarrassed about it,
Mhm.
but it doesn't allow you to really invest in that relationship because you know this person may need you.
Mhm.
So at 3 o'clock, I know sometime during the night, I'm gonna get this call to come get this person out of something they got themselves into
Mhm.
because of their mental illness. And I'm afraid I don't really want to tell you, but now I'm leaving at 2 in the morning and I'm not really giving you an answer. Now you're like, well, where you going? Where you going?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? What you doing? And that's just, it's tough. Nobody can believe you was getting up for no reason, to go help somebody out at constantly. You're not really given all the information. And that
Mhm.
was, I lived that, and that's tough. It's definitely very tough to deal with that. Somebody else's, that was somebody else's issues that bled into my life and then led into my relationships.
Wow. And yep,
Yeah.
Roxanne, you're right. In the black community, it is taboo, and a lot of people don't understand.
Mm-mm.
And
And
sitting and listening is difficult to listen to the
right,
person talk about how
and when
they're
they find
feeling
out,
through.
sorry, and
Go
then
ahead.
they find out you are taking or some type of therapy or something. Wrong? You don't need that. You all right? What you mean? Now they're almost, they're talking down to you for getting help. Like you're the
Mhm.
problem. You're the one with the problem for getting help. How dare you try to get better? You good? Put some rubber tussin on it. Go put a little vapor rub on your chest. You'll be all right.
why why do we do that?
Yeah, we do that, or we go with the whole denial of it all. Period. Like you see a person and they're clearly exhibiting some behaviors, and we'll make excuse after excuse. Like this person they don't know who I am. They don't know my name. They're hiding under the table. They just playing. No,
Mm,
they're not playing. That's a serious. They might be paranoid, they schizophrenic or something. We don't know. But then
right.
you make excuses for all these behaviors when they should be getting help.
Mhm.
And that's a problem too. We do a lot in our community. We will
Mhm.
deny whatever was really in front of us. You know,
And we will say things like, "That's just crazy Bob."
right, right.
You know he
Bob,
crazy.
Bobby act like that.
Yes.
Bob didn't talk till he was 14.
Mhm.
Ergo problems.
Mhm.
He just slow learner. He'll talk when he want to talk.
Mhm.
Okay. But
Mhm.
that's how we are, and it's almost check
Hey,
in.
Gary,
Hey,
checking in.
hey.
Hey,
Out
hey.
here doing the most.
You got your costume on, ready to dance in the streets?
I mean, she was up at like 5 a.m. waiting for the sun to rise. Yeah, I was stalking your page. I watched every moment. She was waiting for the sun to rise to get it popping over there. That's another problem in relationships. People traveling all the time.
Being influenced by other people to go out of town.
All the time.
Mary says she
Yes,
did that and
enjoyed.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's what you do when you're on vacation. Enjoy.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. That's what's up. Yes. But I was talking to someone who has a family member that has bipolar disorder. And this
Mm,
family member is so impulsive and they have more manic episodes than depression. So they be out doing a lot of things where this person has to do, like you said, get up in the middle of the night, go find them or go pick them up from jail or wherever
right.
they might be at this time of the morning because they've gotten themselves into something. And this person's significant other is like, I can't deal with this. This is too much.
Right.
I didn't sign
Right.
on for this. I signed on to
Right.
be with you, but
Mhm.
not to be your siblings' babysitter.
Right. 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 Right.
And so
And
this
that's tough.
person feels like they have to make a choice, my sibling or my significant other.
Dang, it's kind of tough, but I guess in that case, you do.
Mhm,
Because because if he's like, this is too much. This is too much.
mhm,
And it's tough that it gets to that, but ooh, that's real tough.
mhm.
That's real
Yeah.
tough.
Well, how do you decide something like that? You know?
Yeah, I can't imagine it. I know the 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 rooster or the cock could do it too. What woke you up?
Well, she is in the Caribbean.
You understand me? What?
Uh.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, we'll wake you up. Wake you all the way up. You understand
Practice night. You know he got to show
Woo!
his butt.
Listen,
He got to show
listen.
his tail. Mm-mm.
We've got questions. We'll talk about it when you get back. But that is tough. That would be a tough. That's like the epitome we're talking about, where that's affecting to the relationship to the point where you have to make a choice in relationships. You know, can I be there for my sibling, which is my sibling, or my husband, who's my husband?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Rox. Thank you, Roxanne. Roxanne. I want to be your man.
You know what? But in that case,
um,
this, I mean, in a situation like that, should this person even be in a relationship if they're that dedicated to making
right.
sure that their sibling is okay?
And for me, I chose my family over
Mhm,
the relationship
mhm,
every time.
mhm,
Um, you know, and it just was what, and again, it messed me up too, because I would go into things and like, look, it can't be really serious.
mhm,
I know it's not going to, you know, I can't get serious so I wouldn't even attempt to get serious with anyone really,
mm,
because I knew that this could be a problem,
mhm,
you know, or it would be a problem. It wasn't even a could have. I know it would at a certain point be a problem.
mhm,
And that definitely is tough,
mhm.
um, to
Did you
make
feel
that
like that
decision.
was fair to you, that you had to give up,
No, I
or
didn't,
you
because
feel like that rivalry?
I remember asking, like, look, could you please, first of all, stop this, because you know, even I didn't. It was putting me in situations too where it could just have me get in trouble, and I'm like, I get one little issue, I can't do what I do no more, right? It's not fair to me, because you're jeopardizing my career at this point. You know, what I
Mm,
mean, being involved in this and helping you, and it's interfering with me, not only my relationship, personal, but my career. It could have any time went left, but they knew every time they called, I would be there. You know,
mhm,
so it did. I felt a lot of times I felt like this is not, you know, but family over everything. And I had to do that. Hey,
mm.
Ruth, I'm tired of these games. Okay. All right, Ruth, keep these little games up if you want. All right.
Hey, Neil.
It's not what we doing here, Neil. All right. You're gonna cut it out. All right. Cut it out. I'm tired of this. Okay? Tired of it.
Are you talking about her being late?
No, her talking about Fam and Daryl and me.
Oh.
Oh, oh, really? See, I'm tired of this, Roof. We better than this.
Mm-mm-mm. Yes. Yes. Very true.
And but see,
Mhm.
that's the issue because I wouldn't I wouldn't talk about that, right? That was so it was kind of embarrassing in a way.
Mhm.
Um, and you don't realize that. Well, again, at a certain point, I did realize it, and that's why I wouldn't let the relationship get too serious. But it's something that was at the point where I wasn't, I guess, as forthcoming with that.
Mhm.
It's like, right now I think I'm a little different when I meet people. I put everything out on the table. But at that point, like, hey, yeah, I got this problem where I might have to leave in the middle of the night, and I just met you. Yeah, like it's tough to bring that out, and really, I would want to get away from that sometimes. So going out or doing things, I didn't want to think about that, right? I
Okay.
wanted to kind of push that away because you don't want to think that's trauma, really. So
Yeah.
I don't want to think about my trauma while I'm enjoying myself. So you try to deny that. Now maybe when I go home and I'm like, oh dang, I know this is gonna happen again. But in that time, I was more. I just wanted to be free for a minute. I wanted to have a moment of my own to kind of have happiness because I didn't. You don't feel like you have control of your life at that point because
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know when that person calls, you have to come.
Mhm.
Well, you feel like you have to come at that point. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
this is
you
what I have
feel
to
like
do. Right? And not that but you feel that way. So it's like your life is not in your own. You're living. Wait, I'm just waiting for the next whatever to happen. You know.
Mhm. Yes. Very true, Mary. Mhm.
Right. Right.
Yes.
hmm
Very true. And how do you talk about that?
Right. And I didn't know at that. I wasn't where I am now. I was much younger, so I didn't really even have the words to express. Or I don't even know if I really knew what was going on. Like I knew I didn't feel like it wasn't something that felt good, and I knew it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was okay to have to do this. Especially for someone who was older than I was, who should know
Mhm.
better. But I don't think I had really the words to really understand what was really going on because I kept
Mhm.
doing it. I kept coming to the rescue. I kept putting the job on the line and my relationships on the line. You know,
Mhm. Yes. And that's what happens to, a lot of people, especially if the other party, whether it's a parent, a sibling, if they are not getting help, you do
right,
feel that responsibility of if not me, who?
right, right,
Mhm.
and that's tough.
It's
And
very tough.
like you said, you feel like I'm the only one that can help.
Yep.
I'm the only one that can understand. I'm the only
And then
one. And I think
sometimes they make you feel that way too.
I think it's almost that where we both start to understand. I know when I call, he's going to come, and I know
Yes.
when she calls, I'm going to come.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we're both part of the problem at that point.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. True, Roxanne. It is true. That is the collecting data phase. But like even
Right.
you said, sometimes you don't get all the information up front.
Yeah. You don't have the words to express it. Or like really legit, you're blocking that out.
Yes.
At that point, it wasn't there. That wasn't an issue. So I'm
Mhm.
really denial. I'm really pushing that away in a compartment that is not going to show up right now.
Mhm.
This is not even on my mind in this conversation. Not like in the conversation, I'm thinking like, ooh, this is in the back. No, maybe when I leave, I might. But in that conversation, it wasn't there
Mhm.
for me at the time.
And
And that
if
was
the
more because I didn't
person
have self awareness.
right. And if the person is doing well, you kind of think, well, maybe not, maybe it won't happen. It's been
Mm-hmm.
good for 3 weeks, you
Right.
know. You might feel like you don't need to bring it up.
Right.
Mhm.
Lying to yourself, it's denial.
Uh-huh. That is yes, Mary.
Right,
That is true.
right,
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Because you definitely don't feel like you can um, say no. This is family.
Right. Yes.
I gotta do this. It's family. Family over everything.
Mhm.
So it's tough.
Yes. And we've talked about roles before. Even if, say, if it's a parent and you have 3 siblings, but you've become the one that comes to the rescue, that is your job. That is your
Right,
role. They won't even
right.
call the other 2 or 3.
Exactly.
They'll just call you. And
Very
a lot of
true.
times we take on roles, sometimes uh unwillingly. Sometimes they kind of just fall in our lap because we did it one time.
Right.
But when it becomes your role, it's an expectation.
This is yours. And like I said, it over, and it's like I don't know when it happened, but it just became, like you said, they're gonna call me, and I'm gonna show up. You know, and they
Hmm.
know it.
Hmm. Yes. What about work things? When I
As far
was
as
thinking
which way,
about, as far as being a negative influence on relationships, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about people I've worked with in the past who were so toxic at the job and negative because their home life was all jacked up. So they come to work bossy, nasty. Um, so in those situations, they're letting the job interfere with their relation. Well, they're letting their relationship interfere with the job. But the reverse is also true. If you are having a hard time at work, or you're stressed out, or your boss is mean to you, you take that stuff home sometimes.
right, and displace that anger that you can't show at the job, well, I'm gonna take it out on you. I can't
Hmm.
tell my boss shut the beep up, but I can tell
Right.
you shut the fuck up. You
Right.
know, or bring that
Exactly.
home to you. But how
Mhm.
about, let's look at it the other way. Let's look at it. I knew a guy who, the girl, his girlfriend had a job, but when she got a promotion, he didn't want her to take it.
Oh wow.
He didn't want her to take it. And it was more around the job and taking the promotion, but it was to the point where, like, if you take that promotion, we can't be together. Like, we're married, but
Mm.
we can't even be together if you take this promotion.
Wow.
And I'm like, I guess, her getting more independent was the issue, maybe. Like, I'm not really sure. Like, why would you not want her to progress in her field? I know, and I'm not
Mm-hmm. Mm.
right. But he didn't like her in the job, and he didn't want her to progress, and he was very adamant against, to the point where divorced, and they're divorced.
Wow. So he followed through.
She, they both filed through. She got
Okay.
her promotion,
Okay.
and I remember, because we heard kind of both sides of it. She was saying that, uh, to her, this promotion was everything. Right?
Mm.
It just really felt like whatever she was doing, she achieved something, and she's on this level, and she was very excited about it. And she's like, I'm doing it.
Mm.
I'm doing it. Outside of everything else, I'm doing it.
Wow.
And they're not with each other anymore. But that was so interesting that this job, could tear a family apart.
That is interesting. And I would really want to know, like, what was his, was it about time? Like, if she took this promotion, she'd be working more and being
I
away
don't
from
think
the
so.
family.
I know there was it was a part religious. Some of it was based out of religion. What she was
Mm.
doing and his position in the church didn't align,
Mm.
right? Not like she was doing anything to me bad, but it just didn't align with his position in the church and
Okay.
what he wanted from her. And I think, to me, it was a little bit control.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. I know I think she might have had like a lower education. He was well educated businessman,
Mm.
paid for everything. And when she got this promotion, I think it was like the first big promotion she's ever got. She got to a level she never was at before. And she was happy.
Mm.
She was cool. And I think that's why she continues to do it, because she's like, this is my growth. I can't live through you always. I want something for me. And this was for her. So I get what she was saying. I never understood his uh, being so unsupportive to the point where you would talk about divorce, and
Mm-hmm.
actually they filed through with it.
Right. Right. Mm. And Mary talked about
Right.
listening,
Right.
having to listen to your partner talk about all the stuff that's happening at work. And Roxanne is saying she wouldn't do that. She would sit in her
True.
car and watch the day off before she go into her house. I think that's a good idea.
Right. Right. Right.
Good
And we have
idea.
talked about that before of, getting that me time sometimes. So you may need to get when you come home or whatever. It works kind of, right?
Mhm.
Because it worked for her, but maybe it didn't work for him as much. That
Right,
me time in the car might have called, hey, what you doing in there? Why you in that car?
right.
Huh? What you doing?
A whole
I'm gonna sit in
hour.
the car with you. Yeah, I'm gonna sit. We're gonna sit in the car and get it off together. So, so yeah, it's interesting. Or I had another one where my one friend was stripping when he met his wife, and then
Mm,
she wanted him to stop.
he was
When they got
stripping.
married. Yeah.
He's knocking on the window looking for you.
Yeah, yeah. Hello. You're home. I see you. Get out the car, girl. Get out the car.
Well, I could
But
see stripping being a problem.
how
Whether
can you
you're
see it be a problem? You met me stripping. You
well,
knew what it was when I met you.
yes, that's
So
true.
so so in that case, I don't see how you can now make it a problem. Like you're like, hey, I need you to get a regular job. Huh? No, this is lifestyle paid for by
Okay.
my ding-a-ling swinging.
I didn't
Okay.
hear you say that they met as
Yes,
they met
yes.
while
It
he was
wasn't
stripping.
right,
Okay.
and it was crazy. It's funny, and it's exciting in the beginning when you meet them in the beginning, and they're stripping your girl. He a stripper. You're talking to your girls, and look here he is, look at his body. And then we get married. Now it's like, well, I don't want you to do that no more. Huh? What are we talking about here?
Right.
Right,
Right.
exactly. And so that was an issue where the job was an issue constantly. Every so often it would come up again, like, you're going out again? Like, yeah, these lights don't just pay themselves.
Mhm.
But that was an issue where the job is causing a problem.
No, it's not. It's not fair. If that's how
Absolutely
you met
not.
a person, it's not fair at all.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Not
Not
fair at
at all.
all. And
Mm-mm.
like I said, the only reason I think it's not fair is because you, first of all, you came into the situation that way and you married the situation. That's
Mhm.
something you work out before you get married. Now, before you get married, she could say, if you keep doing it, I may not, I don't know if I can deal with this, and we can walk away. That's
Mhm.
okay. Cool. But we can't get married, and now you're complaining and nagging about the thing I've been doing our whole relationship.
Mm.
Not like I just
No.
started it. So
Mm.
that's why I say I don't feel it's fair for her to. Now she can ask, but she should be okay when he says yes or no.
Mhm.
You should be able to ask anything you want, right? You say, hey, look, I'm really, and you should be able to express it, but you should also be able to accept that answer, whatever it may be at that time, right? Whatever it may
Mhm.
be, you should be able to accept that answer.
That's right. That's right.
So and that was the problem in the relationship because it's constantly nagging about this thing. Now it felt like it was now you're getting insecure,
Mhm.
about the thing I've been doing. You can come if you want or whatever the case may be, but now when you come, it looks a lot different than it did before. Now when the women are touching you, it's looking different to you. Like I would gather. That's what I'm guessing. Like now it's different. It don't look the same as it did before you were married. Like, whoa, get off my man. Like, wait a minute, you can't be here fighting. Stop it. Get off of him. So that was very interesting too. Where it's like, you after you get married, you have these issues that he's like, she didn't really say nothing before we got married about it. It wasn't
Mhm.
even an issue. Now she's, constantly bringing up my living, how I paid the bills.
And that's the thing that people need to remember. When you decide to get married, you are saying you accept all that that person is, all that they bring to the table. You are making a conscious decision to accept all of that. So if you failed to talk about it before you got married, that's on you.
It kind of is. It kind of is. Like, hey, you should have thought about this before.
Mhm.
Marriage isn't
Yeah,
a pill to change things. Hey, people think that marriage is going to make things change.
right.
I don't believe it does.
Not at all. Not at all. And I hear, I hear that often when you talk about a problem and the person says, "Well, I thought after we got married that was going to change."
Right. Right.
Mm-mm. No.
Right.
You told this person that by marrying them that you're okay with it.
Right. And no, maybe that take that a little further. That could be a problem in the community as well. A problem we deal with, that we don't know sometimes what marriage looks like, or we have this Disney view of things where we think that everything's going to be great when we get married, or things are going to change when we get married, and then you get into this marriage and you feel like you find it's not what you thought. It's hard work constantly, and it could break up, or it could lead you not to get to marriage. So I've seen them do what they do, so I don't want that.
Mhm.
That could be an issue. That could be a real issue,
Mhm.
especially in our community. If the stats are saying 1 in 4 Black women are getting married in their lifetime, that's crazy. One
That
in
is crazy.
four, right, are getting married, and I don't know why. I wish they would do something to kind of show why. Um, but that's bananas. So marriage definitely is a problem in our community, um, and we need to research why. That we have these homes that are not uh, succeeding in
Mhm.
in a partnership and growing.
Mm. That's a very, very important issue you raise. Like,
Right,
it's not knowing of what it should look like.
right, right. So when we
And if
talk about family
Mhm.
in our community, what does family look like?
Mhm.
It's tough to even we talk about, oh, we need to come together, but we don't even come together in our own homes a lot of times,
Mhm.
right? We can't even family right. So how can we come together right? We can't even family right. You know, that's this is serious. This is a problem that is very serious, and this is one of the basic problems that we need to fix, because we have to learn to get along with each other. So
Mhm.
I guess if 1 in 4 are getting married, it's showing issues between the man and the woman,
Mhm.
right? The Black man and the Black woman, you see there's issues
Yeah.
there for whatever reason, because and it's weird because it's um, all other women have higher stats than the Black woman is the least married
Mhm.
woman in the United States.
Wow. I know one of the questions or one of the statements I hear a lot is that I don't know any happily married couples. I hear people say that. So
Yeah,
it's hard
right,
to know what
right,
something
right,
looks like when there's no model.
right, right.
Mhm. And the pillars like good communication, conflict resolution skills, um, being able to be vulnerable, those kinds of things like what you're talking about, Roxanne, learning to ask for what you want are not those things aren't present because there's no model. No one taught you how to do that. But those are the things that make for a good relationship or a healthy relationship. Any relationship, even your friendships.
Right, right, all right.
So if there's no uh script, if you well, I don't want to say script. I'll just say
Or
model.
you say, yeah,
There's no
script,
model.
model, uh, cliff notes, family
I
for
think
dummies,
that's the
like none of
problem.
that.
Too many people following the cliff notes.
Right.
All these little bits and pieces
But
of what it really should
see,
be.
but the issue, if they were even following the cliff notes, they might be a little bit better than they are. They're not. They're like I said, they're not going on script at all, and that really goes to show that this is this systemic problem, and how they keep any positive images off
Mm.
any media, right? We want to they want to keep that narrative going, because you
Mhm.
don't want anything really to show a positive light. That's
Mm.
why that's why I think we don't see anything like that. We
Mm.
don't see anything, um, and that's tough, because, like I said, there is nowhere to look to really find, well, what's a good family to look. You
Right.
know,
And that's
tough.
just in our history and embedded in our
Right,
DNA, unfortunately,
right,
from way
right.
back when they purposely divided up the families.
Absolutely. You
Mhm.
know, so it's almost a learned innate. You know, we learned this and it became innate, and then we just continue to do it and pass it down. And
Mhm.
it's crazy because the numbers support that there's issues. And like I said, we really need to start, I believe, with the individual family, because once you learn how to family right, I think we can start learning what a community is, right? We can't be a community without family. Families make a community, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So we don't have communities because our families aren't familying right. They're split familying from from the sides, not really together.
Mhm.
Big mama house Sunday dinners. These things we're even further away than we were before. So we never were really there, but we're only going further away. We don't have those family reunions as much. Most people, some people still do, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But a lot of people don't. Like it was just a funeral that passed in my family recently, and I'm like, we still we're tired of seeing each other like this. Hey,
Every
we're gonna
funeral.
get up. Yeah, we're gonna
Every
get up. We ain't gonna let no more time pass. Someone passed away. We're gonna live today. We're gonna set something up. Next funeral, we gonna
Yep.
pass. We ain't gonna do it again. I promise this time. Next
Mhm.
funeral.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
tough. The
Mhm.
life gets in the way. The busy bustle, hustle and bustle of life gets in the way, and us trying to survive, which is another problem we have, where a lot of us are just surviving.
Yes.
We're not
Yeah.
living. We're surviving.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if you're
Survival
surviving,
mode
it's
all
tough to
the
do anything else. Right.
time. Mhm. Yes.
So we have to learn how to live, not survive.
Very
Uh,
true.
and that's tough to unlearn that we're in survival mode all the time. And
Mhm.
don't, like I said, just going on this vacation, you realize, wow, I was really like I really was relaxed for once. And you don't even know how stressed you are until you get to the point where you're like, oh, wow, I feel different. I feel totally calm. I'm relaxed. So we get used to working, moving, doing whatever. This project, this project, this project. Again, we don't get to live sometimes in between.
Mhm. Feel obligated to say we gonna do better. Yeah,
we're gonna we're gonna do better.
we gonna do better. Yes.
Yeah, girl. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call
Uh-huh.
you. so so this time I'm gonna try to stick to the word and try to plan something so we definitely get to see each other. So it was good to see the family, but it was brief and it was around something that was not the best situation.
Mhm.
So I definitely I told the guys like we're gonna go to Catalina. Like I
Okay.
had fun. We're gonna go. And if they don't go, I'm going.
So should we just start saying see you next funeral at funerals and
right.
stop playing? See you next funeral.
Hey, we need to make some. I might make some money, make a card, a postcard, or something like. See you next funeral.
Because that's what really
if
happens.
right, if you thought I forgot about you, see you next funeral.
That greeting card will be bought a lot.
It will. Like, hey, one thing we can't forget: the funeral. See you there. you know.
You know, people might even miss a wedding, but they come to the funeral.
Oh, right, exactly. So
Mhm.
we have to do better at familying. We got to do better at familying.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Do we have time to talk about substance abuse?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk. Let's
I
talk.
mean, substance
Now,
abuse is
living through the crack epidemic, I'll just bring that up because that was so people have never seen anything like that at that time.
hmm
I
hmm
mean, well, heroin was still a thing, but it seemed like the crack thing just got crazy.
so from what I've seen, the money from it, the high from it, and then the deaths from it were crazy.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, almost, and then the long term effect from it, because
Yes.
crack
I mean, it
babies,
tore
that's
up
a real
many
thing.
families. It tore up
hmm
many families.
Right. And you're still dealing with that today with the babies that were crack infected who had kids and things were a little off. And this led to a lot of things today, people being a little off. get knocked in the head and stuff because she was just a crack baby.
And I mean, this is when you saw a real uptick in people stealing from their family members. Like, you know, you wouldn't ever steal from your mom or your grandma, but people were stealing from, there was no respect for anybody.
Right. Especially
And
not the
that,
TVs or VCRs.
right. Yes. Yes.
People
And
steal anything that was not not nailed down.
unfortunately, it did bring some couples together because I'm sure your neighborhood, just like my neighborhood, had the couples that were running around getting high together.
So crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We share in our love of crack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bananas. Love
Mm-hmm.
love is love, huh? Love is
Yeah,
love.
love. Yes. Love
Crack.
is love.
Crack. But I mean we're still dealing with that today with the opiates.
Yes.
It's just policed a lot differently and it's treated a lot differently.
Very
Instead
true.
of it being treated so negative, now we're like, people need help. Let's get them help. It's not
Mm-hmm.
their fault. Um, because it's affecting a lot more others. So now,
Mm-hmm.
and usually things change usually when it affects your home. So when
Yes.
it hits your home and the people look like you want now to you want to fix this people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right,
Yes.
right. They would take the whole mattress. You know how many, mattresses I bought for $10? I mean, there was some advantages because you go down in the hood, you can get anything you want for about $20.
Very
Anything
true.
you want. I
Very
had weed whackers, all type of stuff I was getting. I need for my house. Like I need a weed whacker. It's $10. Brand new
true.
weed whacker come out. Crackheads are resilient. I'm telling you, they know.
Oh my
They
God.
know.
Terrible. Mm-mm-mm.
Oh man. Hey,
Mm-mm.
I'm saying.
It really it wreaked havoc on the black community and our
And
families.
I the big reason I believe that it was so impactful because so many people wanted to get away from the trauma they saw every day.
Yes.
Everybody was self-medicating,
Yeah.
and this thing right here took me away, had me not think about anything, had made me feel good for a little while. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it. And that's the crazy part about it. People were really looking for a way out,
Yes.
a break. Instead of going, to the doctors to get even prescribed medicine, we're like, we don't need it. We can go right to my man on the corner and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the crazy part about it. They pumped it down there because they knew this would be something that we would use to kind of, take a break from the pain
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and destroy and then destroyed our lives at the same time. So it's really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
really
know
crazy.
some families are still trying to heal relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Drugs, can tear a family apart.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have, people who want to help and people are like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want him in my
Yes.
house.
Yes.
He stole from me. I'm done. So you have both sides where you want to help and then you don't. I believe another attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes,
Absolutely,
Roxanne.
Roxanne. Absolutely.
And
And it
it's
works well.
yes. And
It works well.
it's hard, like you were alluding to, it's hard to trust your
Right.
family member or your,
Mm-hmm.
you know, your family, let's say family member, because those are the relationships that were hurt the hardest, I think. And it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to say, oh yeah, you could come to my house now.
Right. And I mean, I know now that, I think sometimes in their mind and their hearts at the time, they feel like they could be okay. They want to do the best they can. I don't think they set out to steal your TV, but when I don't have any money in my pocket and I get that itch that is just calling me, it's like having a bad headache. You want to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
and your flat screen can fix it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I got to do this to fix this issue. And
Mhm.
that's why you can't trust it, because I believe that they want to be good, but sometimes that craving over outdoes everything else. And I
Right,
don't really have an
right.
addiction per se, so I don't know how it feels, but I know how it feels when I can't go to the gym sometimes. I can
Mm,
feel weird. So I know it must be a crazy feeling to make you want to steal a TV and sell it for $20. Not even get $20. You're gonna get $20.
mhm.
Um, but it's tough, and that's why
I
it's
know
difficult to
that
trust.
with the opiates, you physically feel sick, is what people say,
Right,
and they don't
right,
want to
right,
feel sick
right, right, right.
when it gets
Who
to a
wants to
point.
feel sick?
Right. It's not the drug's fault in the beginning. It is response to stress, abuse, trauma. Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. You're self medicating.
Yes.
Whatever's going on, you're self medicating, and that takes over your life.
And
Um,
unfortunately, some of the things that you might try are more difficult to stop than others.
right, right. Which one has like a physical response? I think it's the heroin. That
Mm-hmm.
actually is a. They said it's like a physical. Like you really are messed up without it. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
need it. Yes, you need it to kind of feel right again.
I think most of them, most like cocaine,
Okay,
cocaine in the
gotcha.
brain. I'm thinking of an experiment they did with something with rats and cocaine, where they had the rats doing, I can't even think of it. They had the rats doing something really crazy to get at the cocaine. Like the rats
Really?
was like almost killing themselves to get.
Wow. I'm gonna look that up. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I believe it. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rick James said.
That's it.
Rick James said.
What he said, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, it's
And
tough, and once you get the addiction, is a disease that requires medical.
yes. In a
Right,
lot of cases,
right.
yeah. Sometimes just, talk therapy or support groups aren't enough.
Gotcha, gotcha,
Mhm,
gotcha.
mhm. Yeah.
And
And they
that's something else.
are pretty good with the development of the new drugs,
Mhm.
in some cases that help you with cravings and help you to yes, I want to say stop the use, but I've seen people take the drugs that's supposed to help them along with the drugs that they're supposed to stop
So,
using.
and that's
So
I was about to say. I remember the methadone clinic. People go to the methadone clinic in the morning, and that would get them to about lunch. Then they
mhm,
would take their little pills, and then they'll take heroin at night. That'd
mhm,
be their day every day. They had a
mhm,
setup.
mhm.
So that was crazy in itself as well. You know,
Yeah, I think it's definitely, sometimes you need a combination of things to help you. It could be
right,
talk therapy, support groups, and medical treatment.
right, right, right. And even then, I mean, it depends on the person, right? Because you have to really want to stop first. I don't care what treatment you're in. If they're not really ready, it's tough.
Mhm.
And you may feel ready until you hit that craving again.
Mhm.
Can I really believe? I know a lot of times I hear a parent say, I don't want to. I want to be there for my kids, and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
This time, I'm gonna be there. I truly believe they feel like they're gonna be there, but when that craving hits them, it
Mhm.
outdoes everything else.
Mhm.
It puts you on dumb mode, and you just go and you're zonked out. Um,
Mhm.
so it's tough.
Mhm.
It's tough, and it really affects. Like I said, it affects the whole family at times. Because either you're
Yeah.
dealing with it or you're not dealing. Even not dealing with it, you got to ignore it. And hey, I don't want to hear about cousin Pete. Don't talk to me about him getting locked up again. I don't want to hear he was almost dead. I don't care. That's because
Mhm.
so either way you deal with it, you cannot not deal with it when it's in the family because you still gotta hear about it and yada yada
Yeah.
yada yada.
And if it's your mate, then
Mm,
that makes it even harder, because you want to say no when they ask you for money, but it's hard.
right,
If that's your spouse or your paramour, you know, you want to believe them when they say, "I'm just going to go to the store and get some bread."
right. After the 19th time they came back with no bread. Like,
Mhm.
what are we doing here? What are we doing? And that's when that's when you're part of the problem at that point. Like you ain't never came back with no bread. And I wanted a sandwich. So yeah, that's when that's when you're kind of part of the problem.
That's when you become an
So
enabler.
yes, yes, you
Yes,
guys are
because
both
you
on the
know
same.
no bread has been in the house for 2 months.
Right.
Mhm.
But that's gotta be tough to have a partner. I haven't experienced that, but I wonder, like, you know, like they ask for something, you don't want to necessarily give it to them because they may use it, but then you do, but you don't. That's got to be tough.
Mhm.
Oh, anybody come back 2 days later with me, the locks is changed. So don't even come back.
Mhm.
Right.
Kids
Yeah.
gonna
Right.
be
Don't come
oh
back,
yeah.
kids. Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. It's tough because that is a ripple effect. A lot of other things usually are um, effective.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
crazy that you're also not really doing anything. Like you keep giving the money, and now the lights are turned off, and you know
Mhm.
collection notices and things of that nature. So that's tough.
And you haven't been home for 2 days, so the kids aren't going to bed because they're worried. Then they can't go to school the next day because they didn't get any sleep. So it does. It ripples throughout the whole family. Mhm.
So yeah,
Yes, yes. Okay.
I think
Okay. And it's still difficult, Roxanne. It's still difficult. I know
it's
we see it in child protection.
yeah, and the difficulty is that we're you're trying to make someone do something with these services that usually are cookie cutter, um, and you're throwing the same thing at everybody, and it's not fixing
Mhm.
anything really. And
Mhm.
um, I don't know if they want to fix it. To be honest, I don't really see them doing things to really fix the issue.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, like I said, 'cause you go to methadone clinic, and like I said, by 12 o'clock you're going to get use your pills, and then you're doing crack or heroin that night.
Mhm.
It's recidivative. Like what do we do if you're giving people the methadone and you know the levels, or you're checking the levels and you see, then what are you doing next? Because you're just
Right.
doing the same thing over and over, and it's been 3 years that they're doing this. Like I've seen
Mhm.
people, and the guy explained how they do it, and this has been going on for a long time. So it's not like, so again, they're like, well, we're not really fixing anything. We're just repeating, wash, rinse, repeat, whatever they're doing, and they're not fixing anything. And then families are
Mhm.
falling apart. And like I said, the bread, Ray, where's the bread? The bread not there. Money, families, you're not home. It's a whole bunch of things that happen for that,
Mhm.
because of that.
Mhm. Yeah, Ray Ray. Now you see what's happening to little Ray Ray.
Right,
Right.
right. Or what little Ray's learning.
Mhm.
You know,
If
what he's
any, yeah,
learning.
you're right. You're right. Learning,
Mm-hmm.
being exposed to that
Right.
and trying to make sense of it.
Mm-hmm. So either he may be more susceptible to deal with someone like that. He
Mhm.
may be more he may be more understanding and again do what he sees and continue to live in something like that because that's what he sees. Or he may, drugs may be something that they dabble in because that's what you see. It's tough. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's that's the other part that we got to worry about. We're influence our children through
Yes.
everything we do. And that's
Yes.
that's another thing in our especially I feel with us that is influencing that's negatively influencing our communities, that we see so much negative, even though there's not a lot of negative, because the negative in our community is really small. It's a small number of knuckleheads really doing these things, but that's projected as the whole. And that's what people think. Anytime you think about urban areas, oh, somebody getting killed. Well, yeah, that does happen. But most of the people in these areas are good people. Most people are not out here trying to kill people. But that's what is projected so much, and then we start believing it. It's like anything. You're told something enough, you can believe it,
Of
right?
course.
And that's affecting our neighborhoods. That's affecting
Mhm.
our way of thinking. They have us the chain around our brains. That's how they have us. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's like like an elephant in the beginning, you need a chain to hold them to a tree, a nice strong steel chain. After a while, all you do is put a rope around their leg, and they won't even challenge the
That's
chain
right. They
anymore
want to
because
try.
they won't even try because they got you here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they have us.
Learned
That's all.
helplessness.
Absolutely.
Yes. Learned helplessness is what it's called.
Yes. Okay, there. Look at that. See, that's what I got doc for. Put it together. Put the big words on it. So these learned helplessness people. I don't know if I'm using it right now. These learned helplessness people.
I really need some Adderall and Ritalin to focus.
Right. Well,
But Dr.
actually, Lil Ray Ray doesn't need Adderall
No,
or Adrenaline, but we
but
done
Dr.
said they
said
need
he's
it because, right, we said it because ODD is the greatest thing added to the DSM-5 because as soon as you
yes.
say no once, that's ODD. We're going to put you on some medicine. Now I get Social Security for you, and
Mm-hmm.
now since welfare ran out, this is new welfare.
Yep.
Right? That's another problem we have. We know the system so well, we shoot ourselves in the foot. Instead of using our powers for good, we find ways, like now we're putting our kids on medicine to get money, get SSI for them. That's the
Mm-hmm.
hustle right now. That's the big hustle right now. You
Mm-hmm.
take your kid who is normal and you put up, you go up and you complain, he don't listen. He two. What are you
Mm-hmm.
going to listen to at two? Stop. And the
Yes.
doctors bring them right in, and the doctors are partner with whoever. I can't remember the drug the doctors, the one place I was at, they used for the kids, Abilify.
Mm-hmm.
Abilify. They were bringing the kids in. It was a program, they were from 2 to 11. They would bring them in, and the moms would be like, oh my God, they don't listen, they don't sit still. Meanwhile, the kids are young, they shouldn't listen. I mean, they're not doing anything what I would feel would be unnormal. But the doctor would immediately put them on Abilify because he had a partnership with them, so he would get a cut. They wouldn't even check these kids' baseline. So how you get a kid today and put him on medicine today because somebody told you? It was insane. But
Mm-hmm.
again, now the parents get SSI and they're getting that $800 a month, but they loving. And if they have more kids, that's $1,600, and this is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So these kids are now messed up because now they start believing that there's something wrong with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're put in special classes to say
Mm-hmm.
there's something wrong with them. So not even learning at the level that they should be at.
Mm-hmm.
So now when they get in high school, they're reading on a second grade level because mom had them in the school and said there's something wrong with them. And now they're knocking you in the head, robbing you because they don't have any education. They can't do anything else.
Mm-hmm. 5 kids, Neil. Wow. She
Right.
went for the bag. She went for a real bag.
But
Mm.
no, listen, once they know they get one, they do it. And they forced it. When the program I was in, they would put them in there. And I seen a lot of kids, which I thought were fine. But then they would get in there and start mimicking some of the characteristics of kids maybe who did have issues. Right? Because you're in this program, so you're gonna do as they do, or you learn that you don't have to do much. I'm giving you dittos. You're not doing any work, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, this is not good. This is not helping anybody. But the parents keep them in there because they get the SSI for them.
Mm-hmm. Me too, Roxanne. And the parents don't want to hear that sometimes, which I in my in my naivete in the beginning, I thought that would be good news that your kid doesn't have ADHD or ODD or a mood disorder.
Well, you better stop playing with them people. Little Ray Ray got something wrong with him. He got something wrong with him. You better say he got something. I'm gonna go to another doctor and say he got something wrong with him, and they'll doctor shop too to get that answer. And it's crazy, And what I've learned with some of these parents who do this, they're very resourceful.
Yeah.
They are so resourceful. They know everything they know to get that SSI. They'll go sign all the paperwork. They will work to get that SSI.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can put that energy somewhere else. Like start a business with that. You can start a business with that. Learn how to move and shake and pop. But you'd rather do this and subject your kid to having maybe a less a life less than it would have been if you would have just let them do them.
$4,000 a month.
Really? You see some of these? I remember when I was young, the women who did it, and I went to the one girl's house, and she had a flat screen TV and everything.
Mm.
I'm like, what you do? You got your own spot? What you do? Every kid in there was something wrong with them, and as per her, you know what I mean? I'm like, wow, she's just pimping her kids out, and obviously she didn't work. Why would she?
Right. Why would she?
I don't. Why would I? I'm good. You
And they
know,
don't
but they
even
don't.
understand the long-term effects on their
Right.
kids.
Right. Right.
That's
Yeah.
the
They're
that's the part that gets me. Because
they're
you
just
know
surviving.
that once your kid is diagnosed, they're going to be treated a certain way. So it's
See,
not just that you get a check. Some other stuff is going to happen too.
I don't think they know how the kids are looked at. Right. I think that they do it, and the kids are in school and they're getting, maybe now you're getting kind of decent grades because you can do this ditto. Right. It's not like you're doing hard work at this point. So it's like a win-win. Like, well, you're doing a little better in school. Johnny's doing better in school,
Mhm.
so called. So it looks fine. And these programs need money too. Medicaid is as big as they're pimps too, right?
Yeah.
Medicaid will do anything they can to get you in. They'll say anything to put you in there for your 6 weeks or however long it is before your Medicaid ends. They're pimping you too. So
Mhm.
everybody's winning, but losing at the same time.
Mhm. Mhm. Your kid is definitely
Abs- Absolutely, Roxanne.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But you don't need a scholarship if you got to the point where your kid's licking windows now. He's in the back of the classroom licking windows. He don't need a scholarship. I'm gonna let you know.
Oh, Daryl. But yeah, you're right, Roxanne. It's hard to convince them because
Oh,
and
right, absolutely.
said that they see it as more work as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
getting this diagnosis and this money.
Well, I think it's one of the things that is also passed down to if you have that kind of that welfare kind of mind where I'm gonna get I'm money for doing nothing.
Mhm.
Um, this is kind of like, this is the hustle.
Yeah.
It's looked at as hustling. You know, I'm a I'm a hustle to get this money to take care of my kids, and I don't think they really know they're really affecting their kids negatively.
Mhm.
Right? I don't think you know that maybe that the kid is doing things that they shouldn't be now because of the situation you put them in.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I've never heard a parent be like, "It's my fault. My kid is acting up. There's always something wrong with little Ray Ray."
Mhm.
Before little Ray Ray was going out and not bringing the bread back, the mother probably or the family was failing them at home. You know, not really parenting them to the fullest of their ability, or
Mhm.
maybe they were parenting them to all they knew. Maybe that's all they knew. I'm not
Mhm.
sure, but um, a lot of it is in the rearing of these children where they go astray, and it's just a pattern that's repeating itself in some of these
And I think
households and families.
some of it is not educating yourself about child development. If you decide to have a kid, you should know some things about child development. What should they be doing at 3 years old, 4 years old? You
Right,
know? And if you have them home until they start school in kindergarten, of course they're not going to sit in their seat for 8 hours, 5 hours,
right,
or
right.
even 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be difficult to a kid who had freedom at home to kind of move around and do things that they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, you're letting your kid be diagnosed with ADHD because the teacher said he was out of his seat 3 times.
Right. So, but see, sometimes that bothers me because as a teacher, I should know that kids are not going to sit there the whole day,
You would
right?
think.
So
Yes.
when you start to say, and when you start to target certain kids for being kids, right?
Mhm.
I don't think that's fair because sometimes, like you said, that may be the home. They may not have to sit down at home. So at school, they're not used to sitting down. So it's
Right.
not that they're just doing what they're used to doing. It's not that something's wrong with them, but we
That's
go
right.
put these labels on them so quickly that now these kids are on medicine. Now they're feeling like they're not, whatever the case may be, and everybody's like, hey, little Ray Ray coming up. I don't want to keep him in my grade, but no, he's a problem. So you tell the other teacher about him. She's already looking at him funny when he comes there. So
Mhm.
everything he does is a problem. Other kids can do the same thing. When he does it, it becomes a problem. But that's the issue we have too. Teachers have to understand that, okay, a kid may be a little bit more unruly, but it
Mhm.
may not be the kid. It may be there's no structure at home.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Wow, Neil. That's messed up for her 5 kids. Yeah.
Damn. She a baller. She got the
For
5 kids,
real.
4K a month, lawsuit.
Mm-mm.
All right. Right. See,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. I was saying family pathology. That
Yeah.
I had used that word pathology too. That's the word I had told her that pathology. They pathologied it, you know.
Yeah.
You
So we
know,
have to be careful about letting the system pathologize our kids.
right? Yeah, 'cause whatever path I would ology take, I don't know about the past. It's something, but right, we do need our communities really needs to kind of start over and find a base of how to parent, how to act, what we should do, and what we shouldn't do. Because we just have a lot of bad habits that we adapted over time, and we
Yeah.
just keep repeating them. Because I hear a lot of times, well, my mom did it to me.
Yeah.
My grandmom did it to my mom.
Yes.
Like no one's really breaking the cycle because they don't know it's a problem. They don't know
Mhm.
it's a problem sometimes, and that's a real issue.
Mhm. That is a big issue. You can't keep doing something just because it was done before.
Right, right, right. So, but it's tough to like, well, you can't reinvent the wheel. Hey, that's not really the wheel, okay? You on
Right.
some flats. We trying to fix your wheel.
Mm-mm-mm. Hot off the press.
Right, Mary, yes,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Lil Ray Ray can't spell, but he got an iPhone,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he learned how to speak the text.
So he doesn't need to know how to spell.
He doesn't need to know. So it just gets worse and worse. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
But we're showing them, hey, we need these fresh fly things. How you gonna get it if you can't read? Well, I'm gonna knock you in the head, right?
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
happens. I'm breaking in your car. I'm robbing you because I need these things. We done made America's menace to society by the, things we did in the beginning.
Mhm. Very true. Yeah, I agree, Roxanne. But how can we make that attractive to make people go or make people want to go?
And I was about to say, I know here, there you have early intervention.
Mhm.
It's something every kid can get up to the age of 3. People are not doing it.
Mm.
You got to force them to take it.
Mhm.
Right? You got to force them to take it. I had a friend now, like his daughter, I think she's 2, they're twins, they're 2 or 3. They're not talking. 2 or
Mm.
3, I can't remember. But I'm like, yo, you should go try to, they might not be nothing, but guess what? It's a service you can do. And it
Right.
only helps, right? It only helps. You know what I mean? Like I said, all that type of stuff, I take all that type of stuff. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. And because people don't want to feel inadequate.
Yeah.
You really are inadequate, but you don't want to feel inadequate. But you
Right.
are inadequate. Just take it. You might learn something from it. Right?
Mhm.
You can always learn, but the problem is we don't do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because
That's
we got to dance.
what the
We got to
parents
dance.
that I did with Mary. We fed the people. I think they gave them gift cards too, right, Mary? I know they got fed. I can't remember so long ago, but yeah.
I mean, but people just need. It's just it. It needs. It's something that would help. And like I said, it's a service that you can do. It doesn't make sense why you're not doing it. But like I said, people don't want to feel like I know how to parent. You can't. I birthed them. I can parent them.
Right.
It don't work that way. It really don't work that way. It doesn't.
And even if you had one, people say, "Well, I had a kid. I know how to do this thing."
Right. Right.
Children, they probably aren't going to be exactly the same.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And you could always use more knowledge.
You ain't never lied.
Yes. But I think
And
you're
that's the
right.
problem.
Feeling of if I go or if I take this service on, there's something wrong with me.
Right. Or what can you teach me? I know what to do already. You can't teach me how to be a parent.
Mhm.
That's the problem, and it's not really teaching you. It's learning maybe some other strategies or some other things you can try because there's more than one way to skin a cat. So maybe this might work.
Right.
Maybe this might work. And it's funny, by working where I work, taking some of the classes we have to take, I've learned so much
Mhm.
about child rearing and parenting and things that I'm like, oh, that I might not necessarily have sought out, but now
Right.
I see it.
What
I'm
birth
like, this is really,
You're teething.
Right. I remember even going. I know this stuff already. They're like, "Oh, really? That's what you can do? Oh, you can do it that way. Oh, that might be something different. Or you can put some things together and make something totally new. But it makes you look at things in a different light, and that's what it is. And even sometimes having people need to understand these classes, you're talking to other parents who are going
Yeah.
through the same thing or things that are close to what you're going through, and you really start feeling like, oh well, I'm not the only one.
Yes.
Well, did that work for you? And or I tried this. It's a really good experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right, absolutely. You're not gonna tell me to run my house or raise my kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that mindset is terrible because that's not what anybody's trying to tell you trying to do. It's trying to give you some other things to help you or may not help you, but
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. And that is one of the questions we ask too when we talk about parenting. If you've looked at any resources on child rearing,
Oh,
like
right,
90%
right, right, right.
of the people say no,
No.
no.
Somebody told me a book ain't gonna tell me how to raise my kids. I said, oh. Then a
Okay.
book. Then a book tell you how to drive.
Right. Right.
A book told you how to put that table together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. I mean, it's not going to. It's nothing's going to be exact. It just gives you some different options of things to try.
Right.
You know,
And it's going to give
because
you information because what do you know about the stages of brain development? What do you know
what
about
what's that?
right? Exactly.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Exactly. How do you know what the difference between the a 1 year old's um motor skills and a 5 year old?
My 1 year old don't even got no motorcycle. So what are you talking about? They too little. See, that's what I'm talking about. This class stupid.
That's funny, but it's true.
Right, because they don't want to listen. But these are real things. These are real things, and
Yeah.
it can be intimidating,
Yeah.
right? Especially when we start talking about motor skills. If I don't know what that is, it can be very intimidating. And I start feeling almost inadequate because when I was younger, I was in that class where I was looking the window and I never really learned correctly. And now I'm in this class and I'm feeling that again. I feel that again. And I remember it real fast. I was at one point I was working I went to work for the airport, and you gotta go through like a 2 week class. Like you're in a classroom and you're learning, and they treat it like a class. We're grown ass people, but we had to read, and you have to read, and you read a paragraph, and the next person read a paragraph, next person. And I remember like I used to hate that in school, and I
Mm.
remember feeling like in school again. I remember feeling the shame of not knowing how to read. I remember feeling all that come up.
Mm.
And I remember one guy started reading. He was cat. And so I laughed. A couple of us laughed because I wanted to do anything to stop us from reading. So I wanted them to
Mm.
make it. I felt like high school again. I want to make it a scene so they get upset and they stop us from reading out loud. It was crazy. So I mean, I can see how some of these classes can be intimidating sometimes, depending on where you're at.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Facebook users, that net. Hey, net. Wait a minute. The
Yeah, who
baby, that's
who?
net.
Oh, okay. The babe is here. Hello.
So it almost took you back to high school where you wanted to something to be interrupted.
Right, because so I had that type of life where but luckily my mom fought against it. I was,
Oh, it's
it's
camp.
camp. Wait, she had the baby? Is that what she means? The baby's here? She had the baby? If that's camp, I think the baby is here.
Huh? I thought she was talking about herself. The babe is here.
I don't know which one it is.
I don't either.
We need more information. If the
Yeah.
baby's here, congratulations.
Oh,
Yes,
congratulations.
congratulations. That's
Boy.
crazy. They say a death brings life.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Wow.
Congratulations. Mary,
Nice.
we can read. We can read, Mary. Thanks.
Neil did the same
uh,
thing. She said yes.
thanks. We can read. Thanks, Neil.
Congratulations. Okay. Funny.
Woo!
Hmm. Hmm. So, what we've been talking about for the last few minutes is this lack of knowledge,
Yes, yes. Mhm.
how it can influence your relationship. We're mostly talking about parent-child relationships at this point, but you know, that is our very first important relationship.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything, a lot of things are dictated on who rears us and how they rear, how we view them, what we see. Because a lot of it's more is what we see them do, what they're modeling, that they don't
Yes.
even understand they're modeling. Like
Yes.
I told him to stop cussing, but if you cuss like a sailor, he ain't gonna stop.
Mhm.
He's gonna go what he sees. Sometimes you can say what you want, but sometimes what we see outdoes what we're told.
Of course. Of course. I remember a specific incident where I was doing therapy and evaluations in a school, and they were telling me about this kid who came to school cursing the teachers, the principal out saying he was going to blow the effing school up. Come to
Hmm.
find out, mom did the same thing the week before.
See? Yep. See?
She
And it's
came up
and it's
and threatened to blow the effing school up.
right, right. And it becomes tough because now that kid may have to deal with it being expelled and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And we really need to evaluate what's really going on there. That
Mhm.
kid is really just mimicking what he sees at home. And
Mhm.
he probably didn't see a consequence from his mom or anything else. So
Lack of wanting knowledge that's going to make me be extra.
you got me feeling some type of way, Mary. You got me feeling some type of way right now.
And it's sadly, it's not just the lack of knowledge, it's the lack of desire for knowledge.
Right. Like, and that's the that makes me upset. And sometimes I'm like, people don't know what they don't know. But today, everybody has a computer in their hands 90% of the time.
Hmm.
So if there's ever a question like, well, is this normal? You could look it up.
Yes.
Is it normal for me to do this? You could look it up and get some type of answer. Maybe not the best answer, but you can get something. But people won't even do that. You
Hmm.
know, like Chris Rock said, if you want to hide some knowledge, you don't want to hide anything, just put it in the book. Anybody there, you take $1,000, put it in the book. Anybody gonna find it because black people don't read. So, and that's true. We sometimes we just don't want to know. We're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to find anything else, but we'll look up what the next Love and Hip Hop and who got shot or who the buffoonery. We'll look up all day.
All day long.
World star, all
Hmm.
day. But you don't know anything about your history. You don't know anything about anything else.
Hmm.
So it's crazy.
Right. You can just Google, should my 1-year-old be licking the window?
Right,
Like
right, right, right. Ain't
somewhere,
nothing wrong with it.
somebody
Just put some
somewhere
Robitussin on the window.
before.
Right. And like I said, because I believe a lot of parents are in denial because they don't want to think it's them. If they're licking the window, I don't want you guys to think it's me why they're licking the window. But it's got to stop thinking that. We got to just help this child out.
Right.
Try to get them the help they need, independent of why it happened. That's not
Right.
important.
That's
It's
right.
like, let's try to do this.
Mm. Wow. Daddy calling mommy a B.
Mm.
Wow.
He's just doing what dad does. They're his role model. His
That's
role
right.
model that he loves and looks up to.
That's
So if
right.
my dad calls you a B, guess what you are? You're a
That's
B
right.
on the playground. Come here, B.
Yep. Yep. Wow.
And I bet he didn't say B. He probably said bitch.
Yes. Sure. That's That's what she's saying. You know what? I'm just gonna say I don't think people take the responsibility of parenting as seriously as they should.
Right. I agree.
You
I
know,
agree.
that's what
I
I.
agree.
It's
Right.
unfortunate, but that I mean, even when you see these stories about people leaving their kid in the car to go somewhere or do something, you would not leave your person there, right?
Or your phone.
Or your phone,
Right.
right?
You wouldn't. You done
But
turned around, climbed in the window to get your phone, but a kid, you left him in the car all day.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
That's why I didn't think, but that's true.
Yes, yes. And it
Wow.
and that influences your relationship with your kids. How you treat them,
Right.
starting from the beginning. Because some people will say, "Well, they're two, they're three, they won't even remember this."
Right. I hate that. Right. Right. I
Mhm,
remember a lot of times, like even taking my daughter like to Disney when she was 10 months. They're like, she ain't gonna remember it. Oh, she will, and maybe not in the frontal memory, but just the experience. They add up, and
mhm,
they know, and it goes to how they should be treated.
mhm,
You can't wait till they're 7 to start doing things for them. That's
mhm.
for me. That's just way too long. You have to show them now. So by 7, they should be already kind of know these things. It should be common.
Mm.
Um, I hate when people tell me that. Oh, why are you doing that? It's too. She don't need that. Yes, she does. Give me everything I give her. Leave me alone.
Right, right. Yes. It just reminds me of a story that I heard about a kid who was having a lot of trouble in school and would cower in the evenings at home, um, in adopted home, an
Okay.
adopted because the kid had been removed from the parents because there was a lot of domestic violence, and they wondered why certain music or certain TV shows would have an effect on the kid, and the kid
Mhm.
hadn't seen violence in a maybe a few months, but they were only like 2 or 3 years old. I can't remember how old he was, but come to find out, during certain shows, it was a pattern where the dad would beat the mom up severely,
Wow.
and the kid had learned to cower during those shows. One show in particular, Jeopardy. When the music of Jeopardy came on, the kid would run in the corner.
Damn. What is an uppercut?
There. That's not funny. We're not gonna laugh. But you had to make that funny.
So I get it because even to this day, if I hear a loud bang, I'll jump because I remember hearing that at home when
Mm-hmm.
they would fight, hit against the wall, boom. To this
Mm-hmm.
day, if I hear loud, I don't care where, I'll physically jump, and you feel for a second that you're back in that situation,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to this day it still happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
And the parent, the people swear that at 1, 2 months old, kids don't acknowledge or understand what's happening. But we know that trauma gets embedded in you.
right? Then they say even in the womb, they can feel these
Mm-hmm.
things, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
can influence them. And people need to understand, like you said, you need to understand that. And even if they're not in the room, people think that they're not in the room. They didn't see anything.
That's
Well,
right.
the hearing
Oh,
hearing
we hear
is terrible.
we hear that all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah. Hearing it might be even worse than seeing because your imagination now takes over and it makes a scenario
Mm-hmm.
that may be way worse than what really is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, the feeling of not being able to help was something that I dealt with a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of not being able to help in that situation because I'm a kid. What I'm gonna do?
Yes, right.
Um, Almost was ashamed. Like, why didn't you get up? You should have got up and I. What could I have done? Right? But
Right.
that shame, you know, and it still creeps over you. It's crazy. Still today, sometimes I think like, then I'm like, what's wrong? You couldn't have did anything, right? But it's crazy. That shame is real, and that trauma does not really can come back at any time. You know, so I get it, how to avoid a jeopardy. I get it. You know, because somebody bang a table right now and see how quickly I revert back to that scared little child. You know, for a minute, then I realize I'm a big, strong guy, handsome, very handsome man.
You had to throw in all those.
hey, look close, Roxanne.
But trauma is one of those harmful influences.
Right.
It really is, because you, if it hasn't been treated, you may not know or understand when it plays out in your relationship.
Right.
You know, you could have that woman and you jump because somebody car backfired, and she'd be like, "What is wrong with him?"
Right. Why are you under the car? Because you didn't hear that bang? It was a trash can.
Mm-hmm.
But for some of us, that puts you right back in that situation. And like you said, I think, again, that's something else we deal with in our community, a whole bunch of undiagnosed trauma. Undiagnosed. And then you figure the undiagnosed trauma, and then we're re-traumatized just about every day when we see things on the news and things of that nature. So we are some of the most traumatized people on the planet. And we are not getting, we're getting zero to no help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really inhibiting our growth and our I feel lack of community, because we have all these other issues which prohibit us from even that sometimes can stop me from getting close to somebody else.
Yes.
As a Black man, I know when I'm out in especially certain areas, I'm an enemy to that man if I'm not from there.
Mm-hmm.
We are enemies just because. No reason.
Right.
No, there's no reason. The one guy was telling me he was from, I think, from Ohio or somewhere, and he was walking in the hood, and he was like, "Hey, what's up? What you say to me, nigga?" What's up? Oh, all right. Like, the other dude was so ready for a confrontation because this other Black man, we had such an issue with each other, that saying what's up he could have lost his life for saying what's up.
Yep.
And that's us. You know, that's our thing we have to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. At 3, and like I said, you're still carrying that around, kind of sort of. We know better, but instincts or things that are innately in us, we can't control somehow.
The big word.
Right.
Yes.
You understand me?
Yes.
So when I hear the ice cream truck, I know I gotta hide.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, so that's real. Trauma is something, and you know, I think a lot of times we don't feel like these things. Hey, that happened so long ago, don't bother me.
Yes.
I mean, I was 3 when it happened. I'm good. I was like, oh, what was that noise? What you jumping for? You know, they don't understand that that's trauma.
Yes. When what you say? When somebody just you, that's trauma.
Mm-hmm. Somebody stand up, I'm going to the kitchen. Like, people don't understand that we carry around a lot of trauma that we don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we just don't have the words for what we're going through.
Right.
You know, we don't know how, and like I said, now we're in relationships and we're bringing this trauma into this relationship, and then wonder why it doesn't work.
Yes.
Because we have all this trauma.
Yes.
We don't know how to deal with situations because all we saw was chaos.
Yes.
So how you deal with chaos? I don't know. I never learned.
Right.
So somebody say F you, you say F you back.
That's right.
Right.
You don't think that, hey, this is not the healthiest way to interact.
Right.
You go right into what you know.
This is normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I saw growing up.
Yep.
So it's almost, we feel these unhealthy relationships are healthy. And I truly believe we feel these unhealthy, because like I said, when I say F you, my response is, well, F you.
Yes.
And then and that's normal. And then we argue, fuss, fight, and the next day we cool
Mm-hmm.
until we argue, fuss, fight again, and then we cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same cycle. And the kids see it, and now they're on the schoolyard calling somebody B,
Mm-hmm.
but they said bitch, not B. I think I like what you said, that we're not, people don't take parenting as, I guess, as serious as they should, because you are really responsible for what this life looks like or turns into. You
Yes.
know, some kids can outdo the stuff they went through. Some
Yeah.
kids are strong enough, but a lot can't, because you're vulnerable at that time and you're getting a lot of your information, almost all your information growing up. And sometimes it's very difficult to outdo those things you learned. And
Mm-hmm.
parents have to understand, my influence on this child is it's innumerable. It's a big, and we have to do better. We just
Mm-hmm.
have to do better.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think, what you said, just acknowledging that this kid is going to do what I do. Simple as that.
Absolutely. Right. Not what
Simple.
I say, because what I say is good. But if it's not lining up what we do,
Right.
sometimes what we do is going to outdo what we say.
All the
You know,
time.
because like I said, we tell them all the time, stop it. But what you do is not that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I told the kid the other day, like, don't put your, he's like, didn't I tell you not to hit girls? But daddy hit you. So why wouldn't I hit girls if daddy hit you? I hear what you're saying. But
Mm-hmm.
what you're showing me at home is that snap, crackle, and pop if somebody does something you don't like.
Right.
You know, we have to understand that. You can't say you're teaching them something and then doing something totally different, and not understand that they may do something different.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Okay. I think we did a good job. Yes, Roxanne. Yes. Children will watch what you do way more than listen to what you say.
And
For
it's
sure.
and the little span on that, they're watching you all the time. That's the problem. Because even when you're not saying anything, they're still watching you. When you're on the phone talking, you don't realize they're there. They're
Yes.
watching you, right? They're
Yes.
watching you, and they'll repeat everything. You wouldn't even know they was in the room. And they're like, remember you said that, like, whoa, I didn't stop listening to my phone calls. But
Mm,
you got to realize they're in tune to you. So when you're not even watching them, they're watching you.
yes. Yes. Just
I'm back in the fam. I'm back in the
yes.
fam roof. Yes, Neil.
Peek into your children's room and watch them play make believe. You'll see yourself.
Right. Hey, that is so real. If you watch them play and do I sound like that? I think I sound like that. See, look at
Yes.
this. Look, as we talk, creeping in. They,
Yes.
they they sneak up on you. Didn't even know she was here. Creeping.
Yes, it is, Mary.
Listen, a
Yeah,
better movie than anything on TV.
all the time. All the time. So watch what you do around your kids.
Gotta watch.
Hi.
See, look at that. Gotta make sure watch around this one. See them? They're sponges.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
soak up everything.
Mhm.
Everything. She's
Okay.
gone now.
So
They get
we
to
did it,
talk like grown ups.
and Daryl is back in the family. So
He's back in the family.
we're gonna
Welcome
leave it
back.
there before Daryl says something because we know he can't hold it for long.
I can't. I'm sorry. It's the way I was raised.
He's doing what he saw, y'all. You can't hold
Doing
it.
what I saw. I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm
Try
trying to
not
learn. That's why I'm here every week. I'm learning. Trying to get better. This is my therapy.
All right, guys, we will see you next week and we will let you know in the group what the topic is. Again, as Mary always says, if you have a topic, let us know. If you want to come on, let us know. We're all available. And we'll see you next week. Catch us on the replay on Facebook and not Twitter, Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.